Now I want to talk about the whole election thing because this is insane. So much is happening, and really, I'm pretty pissed off right now because now I'm going to talk about I still think Trump's going to win. All right, don't get me wrong. The reason I'm angry is because there are senators that are out there that are talking about fraud happened. But what we need to do is make sure it doesn't happen again. What? That's your response? That's what you want to do? You want to make sure it doesn't happen again? What? What? Are you serious? Rand Paul? Let me bring this up here. All right. This is sorry about that. This is a video, and it's basically clips a bunch of different, obviously it's got a little bit of text there, but it's from a Senate hearing, and which, man, how useless are Senate hearings? That's what I'm learning this year. Senate hearings mean absolutely nothing. Blah, 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 blah. That's all Senate hearings are. My goodness, it's ridiculous. All right, so look. GOP senators hammer election fraud. The fraud happened. The election was stolen. That straight up came from Rand Paul's mouth. But the thing he says next pisses me off so much. He says, the only thing we can do about it is make sure it doesn't happen again. That's your answer? Make sure it doesn't happen again? Excuse me? You're going to roll over and accept it? That's it? Are you kidding me? That blows me away and pisses me off. Get out of here. We're finding out that all of this fraud exists. All right, now they're getting to the point where they're like, well, Trump's own team said there isn't enough enough evidence to overturn the election. No, that's something Bill Barr said, because I don't know if he's even trustworthy anymore. Now he's not even going to be Attorney General anymore. I don't know what's going on with that whole thing. I don't know enough information about it, but I do know he's now resigning. As of next Thursday, he's no longer the Attorney General. Okay, then we got a new Attorney General coming in, A.G. Rosen. I forget his first name, but he had a video talking about how foreign influence was on George Washington's mind. That's right, our first president. And they talked about it, how they need to make sure foreign influence is not a thing. And guess what? It's always a thing. Always. All right? We as Americans are standing in front of the rest of the world of tyrants like the CCP. Not China. Not the Chinese citizens. All right? The CCP, the Chinese government, they want everyone under their heel. All right? And they want us under the heel. Now we're seeing that we know they've spent millions of dollars this year over the past 6 months meddling with our elections, altering the media. How is that allowed? Okay? They're literally shoving propaganda, Chinese propaganda, into our airwaves, into our media systems, spending millions of dollars to do exactly that. How is that allowed? I don't know. But the new Attorney General coming in, Attorney General Rosen, talks about it. He talks about the foreign interference that has happened this year. He knows about it. So he's coming in hot. All right? I expect, keep your eye on A.G. Rosen, because he's going to be doing some stuff. So we're going to see about that. Where is this article? Check this out. Some Dominion machines can connect to the internet. The CEO of Dominion came out and admitted that. Excuse me? You're telling me Dominion and all these leftists, these Democrats, have been claiming for weeks now, no, they can't connect to the internet. There's no way. That's not the case. Oh. And now we're seeing that they can. You admitted it. You admit that they can be connected to the internet. He said, no, most machines aren't connected to the internet, but some states do connect them so that they can, send out data to different whatever. It's like, excuse me? So you're admitting that they can connect to the internet? So if they can connect to the internet, that means hackers can get to those machines. Period. I don't care how safe you are. We heard 2 weeks ago, they said the election was your Venmo account, it has more security than this election. Okay? That is insane. Let's see. I don't even. You know what? This whole article basically sums it up. There's modems that are inside this. Some of them need an external one. Some of them can even connect to Wi-Fi. Yeah. Melissa Carone, who all these people tried to discredit and say, oh, she's crazy, saying that these machines can connect to Wi-Fi. Turns out they can connect to Wi-Fi, which means they're connected to the internet, which means anyone on the internet that knows what they're doing, like a hacker per se, if they wanted to get into it, they can. You can't stop them. All right, maybe some people can. I certainly can't, but I'm sure a hacker that wants to get in there, they're going to alter those elections, and they're going to alter what the votes are. That's insane. Here's some more news. Check this out. Ken Starr, Pennsylvania flagrantly violated laws ahead of the presidential election. Ron Johnson. Man, Ron Johnson, what a boss. Shout out to Ron Johnson. My goodness, dude snapped. I don't know what this Eric Trump is, but let's see. At a Senate Oversight Committee hearing on Wednesday, Chairman of the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee, Ron Johnson, said that experts must be given the opportunity to examine and investigate the Dominion voting system machines used during 2020 presidential election. The most difficult allegations to assess involve vulnerabilities in voting machines and the software used, said Johnson during his opening statement. In order to effectively determine the extent to which voting machines were subject to nefarious intrusions or other vulnerabilities, computer science experts must be given the opportunity to examine these allegations, he continued. Johnson cited letters from his documented Democratic colleagues that questioned the safety and security of Dominion voting machines. Ranking committee member Senator Gary Peters told Johnson that he believes Wednesday's hearing provides a fundamentally dangerous opportunity to provide a platform to conspiracy theories and lies. Oh my gosh, that pisses me off. We had that forensic audit that came on Sunday, right? I talked about it on my episode on Monday. It's a forensic audit of a Dominion machine that proved that it flipped votes. 68% fraud in this machine. What? So what is it a platform to spread conspiracy theories and lies if we're actually proving it to be true? Check this out. Johnson, props to Johnson. Let's see. I don't see anything dangerous about evaluating information and doing legitimate congressional oversight. Close-minded is the real problem for a lot of issues we face today, responded Johnson. Jesse Benal, a Trump-backed attorney testifying during the Oversight Committee, told the panel of senators that his team was thwarted at every turn in Nevada when attempting to seek transparency during their legal fights post-election. We were denied transparency in Nevada at every single turn, testified Benal. The legal system didn't allow for transparency. They refused to accept subpoenas, said Benal, of the election officials in Nevada, who he says refused to accept the legal documents that would compel them to cooperate with the Trump's legal team's investigation. To protect the integrity of the American election system, we have to make sure that there's transparency, said Benal, which he does not believe occurred in this case. Exactly. We want transparency. We want to be able to look at these systems, this software, these voting tabulation machines that can print, that can change what they're seeing on the vote, that are switching votes from Biden to Trump. We learned that in the machine in Georgia. I don't know why people seem to have forgotten about that machine that they got that switched 36 votes, every single 100 votes. They did 100 votes for Trump, 100 votes for Biden. It came out on the other side, 36 votes switched from Trump to Biden, and Biden ended up with 136 votes. Are we forgetting about that? Now bringing into this whole forensic audit that happened in Michigan, that's now proving that there's 68% flaws going on, that it switched votes from Trump to Biden, and now we're finding out that there's more votes or less votes at the end. Like, the whole thing is ridiculous. So now they're fighting for transparency in Nevada, and the Democrats are, it's like they're trying to hold back the torrent of truth. Like, no, don't look. Stop looking. Stop looking in this direction. All right? Just accept the truth and let us cheat. Stop it. Stop trying to get this transparency. We just want this to be easy. All right? Because they feel justified. These people think President Trump is evil. And you know where that comes from? That's right, media. The influence the media has. Oh, and who's been paying the media? That's right, the CCP has spent over $6 million in the past 6 months alone to maintain this whole, Trump is racist. How many times did they ask him, will you condemn white supremacists? Why? I almost swore just now. Why would you need to ask that of the man? If you knew anything about President Trump, you know that he condemns white supremacy. He doesn't like supremacy at all. He's a meritocracy type. If you do the job right, that's the person he wants for the job. The person who will do the job the best, better than anyone else. It doesn't matter what gender you are or what color your skin is. If you're going to do the job, that's the person that should have the job. And I agree with that. And he's proven it throughout his career. If you did any sort of digging into the things that he's done, you would see that he cares about the American people. All American people. He doesn't divide us up like the Democrats do. Okay? And that is the media pushing this narrative that he's a bad orange man bad. Oh my goodness, orange man bad. No, he's not. He's fantastic. He's doing a really good job for the American public. Little do you know, I'm sure a lot of you know because you follow me and watch my show. So you would probably have watched me grow to enjoy and respect Donald Trump for what he does for this country. My goodness. Yeah, so this kind of thing pisses me off when they're talking about, oh, you're just proving, having another platform to spout lies. Excuse me? How much fraud do you need to see before you go, all right, it's widespread now? All right. We've been saying, they've been reporting for a month straight, there's no proof of widespread fraud. That's what they keep saying. There's no proof of widespread fraud. Stop saying that. There's fraud. One ounce of fraud is fraud. If there's fraud here, that means there could be fraud in the entire election. If Dominion software is bugged it has errors in it, oh no, it was just an error. Okay, well, let's have transparency so we know that there was no errors. Well, actually, it's proprietary software, so you're not allowed to actually look into our software. Excuse me? Then you shouldn't be allowed to have anything to do with our elections, because we should, as the people, have every right for transparency. And that's what they're talking about. That's what it comes back down to. We just want transparency. The fact that they're not even letting us have transparency in any of this, those votes should be tossed. All right, fine. If you won't allow us to look in the Dominion software, then any vote that used Dominion software should be tossed. Sorry, there's enough evidence that we've seen that Dominion is dirty. We can't. People are connecting it to CCP through UBS Securities, through the $400 million deal 2 months before the election. Now we're finding out that Joe Biden's sister's husband has stocks in Dominion, or that's what I've seen anyway. So this is insane. How can we trust this Dominion software at all? We can't. Hey, look, if you think that all those votes are being disenfranchised, what about every single vote of all the Americans? People are trying to push this. Well, you're disenfranchising the votes that went through that. Okay, if this is the case and fraud exists, and which we're seeing it does, okay, that means every single American's vote has been disenfranchised. Okay, I don't think they're understanding when they use that word, because they're actually proving our case. The people who think that there was fraud, from what I've seen, there's more than enough evidence. Okay, and man, I don't know if YouTube's gonna boot me for this, because they've openly said you're not even allowed to talk about this stuff. But It doesn't matter to me. This is ridiculous. This kind of stuff is happening, and it's happening right in front of our eyes. It's ridiculous. And even so, Rand Paul came out and said, "Yeah, it happened." You know, and he even said this is funny. He goes, "You claim this is the most secure election ever, but I think you're not looking at the big picture. You're talking about one specific side of the election, not the entire election." Okay, you can just tell them they're lying, Rand. All right, you were trying to be nice. Why are you trying to be nice? They're lying. It isn't the most secure election ever. That is BS. And honestly, I don't know what would be the most secure election ever. Because what is secure? How do we even know? Especially because they're not allowing us to double check and have transparency. It's ridiculous. They're doing a recount in Georgia and pushing the people all the way back 100 yards away behind police fencing. Okay, that's where you get to stand to make sure that the signatures match. How are they supposed to check the signature verification if they can't even see the signatures? How can you guys see a signature at 50 yards away? No. 20 yards away. 10 yards. 10 yards maybe. All right? You got to be at least 3 yards away to get a little, understanding of the shape of a signature. I saw one signature tag, and it was ridiculously terrible. There was absolutely nothing the same at all. Two completely different signatures. All right? When I went in to vote, they looked at my ID. They said, sign here. I did. I have my signature on my ID. It matched because I have one signature. And they gave me my ballot, and I went and filled it out, and then I put it in the metal box. And that's that. Now, it turns out they didn't use Dominion voting machines or counting machines in my district. Thank goodness. So I have a feeling my vote probably counted. I still don't know. I haven't checked in like a week, so maybe it did. Maybe it has. I should check that. But man, this is getting out of hand. This is I just want to show you. This is pretty funny. This is from Jack Posobiec. He posted this. Welcome to Pennsylvania. We are #1 in voter fraud. I thought that was hilarious. And then this is really interesting too. Check this out. This is from CBSN. I just found it really interesting. I want you to listen to this.
What did Ratcliffe say about election fraud and interference?
Well, D&I Radcliffe leads the 17 intelligence agencies, and he has access to the most highly classified information that is held by the U.S. government. And he told CBS News that there was foreign election interference by China, Iran, and Russia in November of this year, and he is anticipating a public report on those findings in January.
Ooh! All right, so so there, not only did China influence our elections in November, Iran did, and Russia, and Radcliffe's got it. And interesting. So what are we seeing? What does that mean? So does that mean they've got all this information and they're waiting to drop the hammer? Maybe Trump is just waiting. Someone in my locals community said this to me today. They were like, maybe Trump's just biding his time, because he wants Americans to at least have a peaceful Christmas, and that there's no reason to drop the hammer, so to say, before any of this. I guess we'll just see.